Give me 1 second. All right, Shalom Israel. This is the Wednesday law class. Also remember, check out Commanding General Yohanna's. Hey, Shalom, you have a Shabbat Kafar. Give me 1 second, Hakia. Let me just put on the speaker. Shalom, Lord in Christ. Say something. Let me see if I can hear. Hey, Shalom, you have a Shabbat Kafar. Yeah, Con, I'm live now. I got Hakia up in here. Most High in Christ, I appreciate it. Most High in Christ. All right, then. All right, no sweat. All right, then. Shalom, Lord of Christ. Salakis, say something, Haki, and I can't hear you through the speaker. Hold on, maybe it's my side. Give me 1 second. Let me just check on the aux. All right, Haki, and say something now. Oh, the brothers dropped out. All right, this is the Wednesday law class. Also remember, check out Commanding General Yohanna's radio show, which is Monday, 2 a.m. cut time. We also have classes here Monday through Friday. You can catch the history class, 7 p.m. till 9 in the school, 394 Lodge Road, B185PW. That's with Captain Parasha. You can catch the Brotherhood class Tuesday. That's with Officer Ariala. You can catch the law class with myself, Dom Gabar. You can catch the Thursday scripture breakdown class with Officer Karafia. That's Thursdays. You can catch the Lashon Kudash online, 7 p.m. till 9, done by Officer Alban. And on the Fridays, you also can catch the radio show, which is on the ends, 9 p.m. until where, you can phone in, can be a part of the stream. You can come with your questions, whatever you want to do, we can make it happen. We also have Sabbath service on the Saturday. And Lord allow, if the weather permits, we also have camp. So we got a packed schedule. We got a packed schedule, man. We got tons of things going on in the school. So now hold on, let me see. Let me just pull up my notes. Let me see what I want first. Give me 1 second. Let me see what I want first. Also, any questions? Just type your questions in the chat, and we'll get to your questions. All right, then. So let me start off in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 5. Hey, shalom to everybody online. Shalom, Ariel, shalom, Ray Ramsey. Let me go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 5. So today we're going to go into a few scriptures, and we're going to go into leaning on your own understanding. We're going to go into a little bit about why leaning on your own understanding is so dangerous, man. We're going to go into why leaning on your own understanding is dangerous. Hold on, let me just find one precept that I'm looking for. Hey, shalom, Ariel. I'm going to send you the link now. I believe Hakiyan's having issues with the internet. Give me 1 second. All right, I sent you the link. So now we're going to go into a few precepts. I'm trying to think where do I want to start? All right, let me try start with Shalom, Yabba Shabba Kafar, Ice working on more time, Christ.
God.
What's going on? Everything to up?
Yeah, to up, sir. Yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad.
More time in Christ, sir. More time in Christ.
So surviving in this house.
God. I hear you, sir.
All right, if I could hack it and get me the book of Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 9.
Can't, sir.
So I'm going to start in the book of Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 9.
Jeremiah 17 verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things.
And it says the heart is deceitful. What is your heart according to the Bible? Your heart is your mind, man. It says it's deceitful above all things. Because why? In your mind, a lot of things take place in your mind, man. Your mind is where a lot of things take place that don't really take place, man. In your mind is where you think all sorts of evil. In your mind is where you think all sorts of things, man. And this is why we need to go with what? The counsel of the Lord. Because in my mind might tell me I shouldn't like this brother because he done this to me. I should hate this brother because he done this to me. And what's going on in your mind? I don't know what's going on in your mind. So you could have certain feelings towards me, and I don't even know you've got those feelings towards me. You could be like, you know what? This brother done something to me last week, and I think everything is doing it to annoy me. And me, not knowing what's in your mind, I could just be living my life thinking everything's good. And that's what the Bible says. Yeah, your heart is deceitful above all, man. You can know it because nobody knows what you're thinking, what's going on in your mind, man. And what's going on in your mind is sometimes there could be a ton of demons in your head. Demons in your head is telling you one thing. And this is why sometimes you have a good day, sometimes you have a bad day. Sometimes things starts in your mind. Sometimes in your mind, this is where hatred really starts in your mind. Why? Because before you pick up any tool or weapon against your brother, where does it start in your mind? Your mind says, go get this. Your mind says, go get that weapon. Says the heart is deceitful above all. Who can know it, man? And this is why we have to stay within these guidelines of the Lord. Because when we don't, what happens? We then lean to our own understanding. And my own understanding is this brother right here is pissing me off. Let me go get some tools. Things like that, man. Whereas when we go to when we use the understanding of the Lord and we go to counsel, things get sorted out, man. Whenever we go to E&D alone, things get sorted out. Because Christ said, go to E&D alone. Why? Because that's brotherhood. Now, if you don't go to your brother, what happens? You have a ton of hatred. But if you go to him and you say, you know what? Sometimes you're not gonna agree. And then when you don't agree, you go to the council. And council's not there. Council's not there to hurt us. Council's there to keep us on the path that we're supposed to be on. So it's not there to hurt us or none of those things. It's there to keep us on the right path. Because now, if me and you have an oath, and I believe I'm in the right, and you believe you're in the right, and then we just leave it there, you think you're right, I think I'm right. That's going to be the beginning of a beef, man. What you'll find is most of these gangs that we, especially in Birmingham, the gangs that we have, they started off as friends, man. They started off as friends, and because they didn't have the wisdom of the Lord and didn't know how to deal with discrepancies. Now there's tons of kids killing each other today over stuff that happened over a fallout in the 70s or 80s that had nothing to do with them, man. They're killing each other over stuff that happened in the 70s and the 80s that had nothing to do with them. So like you read that one more time.
Gone. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?
And what?
Desperately wicked.
And the mind is what? Desperately wicked, man. Desperately wicked. Because if you lean to your own understanding, you're going to do something that's extremely wicked. Because in our mind, whatever we want to do, we find a way to do it. If we want to do something, we find a way in our mind to say, you know what? Let me go and do this. Let me go and do that. And this is why you need to go to counsel. You know why? Or this is why you need to speak to somebody before you do certain things and ask, can they do this? Because they don't have no dog in the race, man. They're giving you an opinion of the Lord, whereas when you listen to what's in your mind, you're going to go based on your emotions and how you're feeling, man. Listen, man. If a horse says to you, if a horse sends you a nude and says, come around tonight, your mind's going to say, I should go around there, man. She's going to be my wife if I sleep with her. Whereas if you found the man of the Lord and said, yo, this woman wants me to come around, he ain't got no dog in the race. Guess what he's going to say to you? She's a whore, don't go, man. Because he ain't acting off emotion, whereas you would. Because when people want whatever, when people want something, they convince themselves that it's the right thing to do. Like, you'll convince yourself this is the right thing to do. Let's say you got a gambling addiction. You'll go, hey, hold on, give me a second. Oh, shit, my nigga, put this accident. Oh, wow, so lucky. Everything's well. Good to see you. I feel like I can't see you for a while, so lucky. So now, in a man's mind, it tells him whatever he wants. And this is the thing, we can't listen to our mind. Drop that. Give me Proverbs 3 and 5. And Ray Ramsey, you're right, man. We're gonna get that precept also.
Proverbs 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart.
We're supposed to trust in the Lord with all our heart, meaning what? With all your mind, not your own mind. It says trust in the Lord with all your heart. So what? The Lord says, your ways ain't my ways. And how do we learn the Lord's? It says, my ways are higher than yours. How do we learn the Lord's ways? By coming to class, asking questions, learning the breakdown. That's how we learn the Lord's ways. And it says, trust in the Lord, meaning no matter what you're going through, don't ever stop trusting in the Lord. You might lose your job today. And in your mind, you might say, you know what? I'll sell a little bit of drugs until I get back on my feet. That's leaning on your own understanding, man. You trusting in the Lord is, you know what? I'm low right now. My money's low. Everything's coming on top. But the Lord's with me. Maybe they might repossess my house. Maybe they might repossess my car. But they can't take the spirit that the Lord's gave me, man. That's what we should be like. We should be like, you know what? The reason I'm going through these things is because the Lord wants me to go through these things, man. The reason I'm being tried is because the Lord wants me to be tried. So lucky, Ariella, find me that precept where Haki, and you keep reading, but Ariella, find me that precept where Job went before the Most High. It might be
Job went before the Most. Salakia, what you say, sir?
Okay, not Job, but Satan went before the Lord.
Satan went before the Lord.
I think it might be Job, the 2nd chapter.
Can't another one, can't, sir.
So now, Haki, you keep reading.
Can't. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not on thine own understanding.
And do what?
Lean not on your own understanding.
And what happens if you lean on your own understanding? You leaning on your own understanding, if you're not listening to the Lord, who are you listening to? That demon in your head, man. When you lean on your own understanding, there's a demon in your head telling you to do the opposite of the Lord. Because the understanding of the Lord is one thing, and if something's telling you to do the opposite to what the Lord's telling you, that's a demon in your head having you lean on your own understanding. And when you lean on your own understanding, guess what happens? You break the law, man. Leaning on your own understanding, you then break the law. And this is why we need to trust in the Lord with everything, man. Because once we left to our own devices, like in life, when you really want something, you're not going to stop till you get it, man. It could be something unlawful. It could be, hold on, let me give me 1 second. Read that one from the top.
Calm. Proverbs 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding.
and lean not unto your own understanding, man. Because why? In your mind tells you what you want to hear. And everybody knows this. Right before when you're about to do something, listen, we've all been there. Right before you're about to do something, you know you're supposed to seek counsel, man. And you don't seek counsel, you know why? Because you know the counsel is going to tell you the opposite to what you're about to do. You know in your mind, like let's say you're a gambler. You know if you speak to a man of the Lord, is going to say, "Yo, that's your rent money, man. Don't go to the casino with that." He's going to say, "Don't be so carnal and don't go to the casino with that." So what do? In your head, something in your head says, "Avoid making that phone call." Something in your head says, "Avoid picking up that phone." And then you lean onto your own understanding, and then you gamble your rent money, and then things go downhill. And then after you've made the mistake, that's when you call for counsel. Whereas you could have prevented it by calling for counsel before, man. No matter what you're going through, seek the Lord in everything, trust the Lord in everything, because leaning to our own understanding is what gets us in certain situations. Right. Sometimes life could be hard, but if life's hard, that don't mean leave the truth. Bible says, seek the Lord 10 times more, man. You might be going through something. That don't mean don't leave the truth. Listen, man. The Lord didn't say if you come in the truth, life's going to be easy. That's not in the scriptures, man. Listen, Christ was in the truth and still had to die for this nation, man. Them disciples was in the truth and they still had to die and get thrown in prison and all of those kind of things, have a horrible lifestyle, man. Paul and them was in the truth and still had to get beaten by the Romans and so forth, man. Being in the truth ain't going to be easy. But if you leave the truth because of hardship, you're not trusting in the Lord, man. You're leaning on your own understanding, believing that life will be easier for me outside there. It's hard life. So lucky Haki, I'm finding that precept where it says, endure hardship like a good soldier. So now, in here, we train to be good soldiers. No matter what we're going through, we have to take it, man. No matter what life throws at us, we have to take it. Whatever you do, put the Lord first in everything that you do, man. Because then there comes a time when your life might be hard now, but once you overcome that battle, your life becomes easier. Your life becomes easier, man. And that's how you get verified, man. That's how you get proven once you go through that hardship. Understand this. When you're going through something hard, man, take it cheerfully and know, damn, the reason I'm going through this is what? Because the Lord's with me, man. The Lord sees something in me, and the Lord sees that I can win this battle, man. The Lord's put me in this situation to overcome what I'm going through, because the Lord sees something in me. Maybe I don't see it in myself, but there's a reason why I'm going through this hardship, because the Lord knows that I'm strong and I can overcome what I'm going through, man. Quite as you find me that next one as well. None of these things you're going through is common to men. I think it goes like that. But Salaki, what are you holding, Arielle?
Job 2:2, sir.
All right, hold on. Let me get there with you. All right, give me the book of Job. I should start from 1, 2 and 1.
Another one, sir. The book of Job, chapter 2, verse 1. Again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord.
So now,
and Satan came.
So now they came to present themselves before the Lord, man. So in heaven, they have to present themselves before the Lord. You see, like how we have a council every month, and you ask what's been going on for the month. What have you done? Is this complete? Is that complete? They've come to present themselves before the Lord, and they've come to speak about the work that they've done. Lucky, go ahead.
And Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord.
And Satan came also. Satan came also, meaning there were no. This ain't like how Christianity teaches that there's a war in heaven. That's Christianity for you, man. That's a lie. All these angels do what the Lord tells them to do. And the Lord told them, be at council on this time, and they're here presenting themselves before the Lord. So, Lucky, go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Satan,
and it's Lucky, Ray Ramsey, Job wasn't an Edomite. Job wasn't an Edomite. while it is, they will tell you Job was an Edomite, but that's a lie. Job couldn't be an Edomite. You know why? Because the Bible called Job, in the beginning, it says there was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright and one that feared God and eschewed evil. So Job could never be an Edomite. And if Job was an Edomite, his record wouldn't be in the Bible. His records would not make it into the Bible. Job was a brother. Now, they'll tell you that Job was, some people say Job was Issachar. I believe Job was before Moses. I can't remember, around that time. So Job is like a story of a man who feared the Lord and done everything the Lord said. But people lie to you and tell you Job was an Edomite, and Nebuchadnezzar made it into the scriptures, but Nebuchadnezzar didn't have a good story in the scriptures. Nebuchadnezzar was what? A slave master in the scriptures. Nebuchadnezzar didn't have his own book, his own scroll in the Bible, but Job did, because Job's a brother. Job, there's no way Job could be a devil.
That's right.
You know why? Because this whole book is about the Israelites.
Right.
Everybody's name you see, hold on, everybody's name you see in the index of the Bible, hold on. The books of the Old and New Testament, all of these people right here, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Ecclesiastes, Songs of Solomon, all of them was what? Men of God. And there would have been Israelites down to Ruth, man. People tell you Ruth was a Moabite,
Right.
when Ruth just lived in the land of Moab. That's all it is. And what do you say? Nebuchadnezzar was a servant of God. Listen, man. Some of these Edomites in these other nations, they carry out the work of the Lord, man. Listen, Esau is a servant of God who the Lord is going to destroy, man. The Lord made one vessel to honor, one vessel to dishonor. The Lord makes everybody. And Job was not no Edomite, man, because his records would not be in the Bible if he was. Job was a black man. That's why Job said, my skin is black upon me.
That's right.
In the book of Job, chapter 30 and verse 30.
Right.
And that's twofold. So Job was a brother, man. Job was no Edomite. Salakia. If Job was an Edomite, guess what he would have done? He would have been a drug addict. He would have been a rapist.
Right.
He would have been a criminal. He would have hated God. There's not one white man on this earth that's ever been upright, man.
That's right.
There's not one white man on this. A white man can't be upright. Like there's no such thing as a white man being upright, man.
Right.
Cause why? He is the devil the Bible speaks of, man.
Right.
He can't be upright. So yeah, there's no
That's
way
right.
Job's an Edomite. So lucky. But where was we? Give me
2 Timothy, sir.
hold on. I think it
Job
was in
2
Job.
and 2, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Carter Khan. And the Lord said unto Satan, from whence comest thou?
And now
And Satan answered the Lord and said,
the Lord
from-
said to say, where are you coming from? Like, where are you coming from? He wants a report. The Lord saying, Satan, report. Go ahead.
Carter Khan. And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it.
And Satan said,
And the Lord said unto
Satan said, I've been in and out the earth, meaning he's going through it, up and down the earth, man, seeing who he can tempt, seeing who he can destroy, because that's his job. His job is to make sure people who don't deserve a crown don't get one, man. That's Satan's job. Satan's job is to prove to the Lord why he should kill this man and this man don't deserve a crown. That's what Satan's job is to do. So he said, I've been walking up and down the earth. And when Satan walks up and down the earth, what does he do? Walks up and down the earth and tries to test you so you leave the truth, man. That's what he tries to do. And then when he has to come before the Lord, once he's finished walking up and down in the earth, what does he do? He comes before the Lord and he says, Lord, that man there, I convinced him to eat pork, man. I convinced him to be a homosexual. I convinced him to have sex with another man's wife. And the Lord looks at the report, and who knows that could be you out the truth, man. That could be you dead, man. Once that report goes back to the Lord, and the Lord says, all right, this is his punishment. Go down and do this with him. That's like you read on.
Carter Khan. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like?
Hast thou what?
Hast thou considered my servant Job?
Go ahead.
that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man.
And now the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him? So now the Lord's giving Satan, have you considered him? Have you tried him? Go ahead. And the Lord saying there's none like him. The Lord speaking big things about Job. Have you considered my servant Job, that there's none like him? Read on.
A perfect and upright man, one that feareth God,
one that
and escheweth, one that feareth God.
And listen, man, whenever you're being tempted, just know that the Lord gave the okay, and the Lord said, have you considered my servant, man? You better prove the Lord right in what he says, man. When the Lord says, my servant, a perfect man, when Satan comes to test you, just know that he's had orders from the Lord, man. And you better pass the colors. And the Lord said, have you considered my servant Job? So whenever you're going through some hardship, you take it cheerfully, man, and know, all right, then, the Lord sees that I'm ready for this battle, man. The Lord sees that I'm a righteous man, and how Satan ain't going to tempt me. That's how we're supposed to look at it, man. Because what the Lord said, have you considered my servant Job? Meaning the Lord knew Job was righteous. The Lord knew Job stood for him. And the Lord knows that you're righteous. And you're supposed to stand for him. So when you're tested or tempted, you lean into your own understanding is the wrong thing to do, man. You're supposed to do what Job did, man. Read on.
And escheweth evil.
Hates evil, man. Go ahead.
And still he holdeth fast his integrity. Although
evil, and he holds fast his integrity, and he hates evil. And the Lord is saying the same things about us, man. You see, these lot, they listen, they hate evil and they keep their integrity, man. And then Satan says, well, let me go test their integrity. Satan says, well, Lord, remove the hedge and let me go test their integrity. And so much people fail that test, man. So many people fail that test when Satan comes. Why? Because they put their trust in houses and cars and money. And then they lose their integrity over those things. They then lose their house, car, and money. And the first thing they do is say, let me sell some drugs because I'm low. They give up their integrity, man. They then go and break the laws of God. And what does Satan do? Reports back to the Lord. Remember that man that you said was perfect. Remember that man that you said eschewed evil. Well, once I took all his substance, he's now doing the same evil that he's supposed to have hated, man. He's now doing the same evil that you said he hated before, man. And then after that, the Lord's pretty much going to be done with you, man. Because you've done what? You've allowed Satan to go back to the Lord with something to brag about, man. The Lord done vouch for you and said, this man eschews evil. And during hard times, what do? Do the evil that you're not supposed to. That's what we should learn from the book of Job, man. We should learn from the book of Job how to be a righteous man. That's what we should learn. We should learn from the book of Job. No matter what we go through in life, we should stand on something, man. We should learn that being in the truth, life ain't going to be easy every single time. We should learn that being in here, you might lose a few things, but the Lord is always with you, even though what you're going through, it would look like he's not. Sometimes what you're going through, you're thinking, if the Lord's with me, why am I going through these things? The Lord is with you, man. But you have to go through some things to prove to the Lord why he should remain with you, man. So, Aki, go ahead.
Although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause.
Go ahead.
And Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin, yea, all that a man hath will he give for his life. But put forth thine hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee by thy face.
And now Satan said, he's like this because what? You've protected him, you've babied him. Maybe if you let me take away some of his substance, he will deny you and he will do all of these things. Like meaning, let me take his house, let me take his car, let me make his wife leave him, touch some of his flesh, and he will deny you and disrespect you to your face. Go ahead.
But put forth thine hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face.
And he said,
And
Satan said, if you touch his bone and his flesh, he's going to curse you to your face, man. He's going to say, God's ruining my life. I don't want to believe no more. He's going to stop doing the truth. He's going to stop being in the truth now. He's going to say, life was easier when I was in the world. Since I came here, my life's been hard. My life's been hard. Since I've come in here, I ain't making as much money as I used to. Since I've come in here, I ain't getting as much women as I used to. Since I've come in here, my life ain't good no more. Go ahead.
God one can. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, he is thine hand, but save his life.
And the Lord said what?
The Lord said unto Satan, behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life.
And the Lord said, all right then, I'll put Job into your hands, meaning you can do whatever you want to do to him to test him, but save his life, man. And guess what? Did Satan kill Job?
Laha.
Why didn't he kill Job?
Because Job was protected, sir.
No, he's telling you right here. Why didn't Satan? This is for this is for Christians. Why didn't Satan kill Job?
Because he was ordered not to.
There you go. Which means Satan does what?
Take orders from the Most High.
There you go. So don't let Christians tell you that Satan's fighting against God, because the Lord gave him an order here, said save his life. And Satan could do everything to Job but kill him. He could give him boils. He could give him all of these things, man. Listen, man. People, what you see that Job went through, a lot of the things that Job went through, that looks like the curses in the book of Deuteronomy, man. Right. Them curses in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, sounds like what Job went through to me, man. Them boils over his body and all of those kind of things, man. That sounds like some of them diseases that we was getting. So lucky is there any more on that?
Oh, there's one more verse. There's one more verse, sir.
Go ahead.
Khan. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his boots unto his crown.
And smote him with boils, man, from the sole of his foot even to his crown. So lucky Kwaza, find me that one in the law. There's one in the law where it says, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Give me 1 second. Hold on, maybe I'm quoting it wrong. Yeah, give me Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 27. I believe that's the one. Let me see if that's the right one. And the Egyptians were smited with the same thing, man. The butcher Egypt and those things. Those is the boils, man. Oh, those is the boils. Also, what are you holding, Hakayan?
2 Timothy 2 verse 3. Therefore endure hardness.
Yeah, go ahead, get that one.
Come on, Khan. 2 Timothy 2 verse 3. Therefore, Salakia, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua.
So now it says endure hardship, man. And we need to endure hardship, man. That's what we need to go through. We need to endure hardship. Go ahead.
No man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life.
Listen, this world and this life don't mean nothing, man. We need to go to war, man. And how do we go to war? You war with your flesh, man. You war with your flesh and say, you know what? Forget that big house and that big car. I'm gonna serve the Lord, because all of this stuff is meaningless. All of this stuff means nothing. Because half the stuff that we be crying over means nothing. I'll be honest with you. Before you come in the truth, you stress about the littlest of things, man. Before you come in the truth, you start seeing the news and get stressed about the currency collapsing and all of these kind of things. You start getting stressed about, there's going to be no more food in the country, and this is what's going on behind the scenes, and Russia's doing this and Russia's doing that, and I'm getting paid minimum wage in this job, and you start getting tangled with the affairs of this world. And once you come to the truth, guess what happens? You realize all of that means nothing, man. And you live a stress-free life because you don't care about what's going on in the world. You stop caring about what everybody else thinks about you. People in the world, they're competing for the best job. They're competing for the best car, the best house. And if they don't have them things, that makes them depressed. They're on Instagram competing with everybody else, and that makes them depressed. Whereas in here, we don't go through those things, man. That's right. Because we don't care about what's going on in the world. In here, we have brotherhood, man. We don't compete with our brothers. In here, we know iron sharpens iron. We trying to build together, man. You got something great going on, Most High in Christ, man. I have something great going on, Most High in Christ, man. But with one body, we ain't gonna be jealous of our brother because what? He's got a better car, he's got a better house, he's got a better this, he's got a better that. That's the kind of things they do in the world, trying to outdo each other. In here, we're just trying to serve the Lord and save our people, man.
That's right.
We're trying to save our people, because why? We don't want our people to die, man. We don't want our brothers and sisters to die. We out here trying to save black people, whereas everybody else is trying to get likes on Instagram. Everybody else is trying to get likes on Facebook. Whereas in here, we're trying to save our people. Salaka, was he holding one from your quarters? Yeah. Go ahead.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. There have no temptation taken you.
There is what?
There have no temptation taken
So it says, there have no temptation taken you. Go ahead.
But such as is common to man.
But such as is common to man, meaning all the things that you're going through, all them demons that you think you have, these demons ain't new, man. You're not the only person. You're not going to be the first person that's ever had these demons, man. You're not going to be the first person that's had mental health. You ain't going to be the first person that's had bipolar. You ain't going to be the first person that's had any type of disease. You ain't going to be the first person that's going through child support. You ain't going to be the first person who's lost a loved one. You ain't going to be the first person who's made homeless, who can't get no job, who ain't got no money. Listen, man, these things happen to everybody. You ain't going to be the only man. Understand this. The demons that you see today is the same demons of old, man. That's right. The only difference is now they've just named these demons. Nowadays, a man with a demon in the scripture, they've just called it mental health, right, and all of those kind of things. Hold on, let me find that. Does anyone know where that precept's at with the man that was sitting down in the cemetery crying? Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
I think it is. I think it's Mark 5:6, sir. I just checked.
Most High in Christ, get that one for me. Hold on one second, I'm just looking for another one. Give me 1 second. Ray Ramsey, what do you mean when you say Jesus won't save you, only the Most High? Like what? I'm trying to understand what you mean by what do you mean? You're gonna have to let me know what you mean when you say that. You're gonna have to give me a better understanding of what you mean. And wait, hold on, Ray Ramsey, what's your nationality? Because it sounds hard like you're fighting to save the other nations. It sounds like you're fighting hard to save the other nations. What is your nationality? Is he trying to, so I can say that again?
Look like an Edomite to me.
Oh, yeah, he said full on white boy. At least he knows. Shit, at least you know. Ray Ramsey, the thing is this. Obviously, Jesus Christ ain't coming to save you, man.
That's right.
Jesus Christ ain't coming to save you.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you why he's not coming to save you, because he can't come and save you if he's saving us from you.
That's right.
You're the one killing us in the streets. You're the one robbing us and murdering us and killing us and lynching us. If anything, we're being saved from you, man.
That's right.
How can he save everybody? If he saved us along with you, you would still be killing us, man.
Right.
He's coming to save us from you, man. And let me get the precept to give me. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to bother. What precept was we at? Give me Mark 5 and 5.
Mark 5 and 5.
Ray Ramsey, we'll come back to you in a bit. So, okay. Give me Mark 5 and verse 5.
Mark 5 verse 5. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs crying and cutting up himself with stones.
Yeah, go to verse 2.
Mark 5 verse 2.
Mark chapter 5 and verse 2.
And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit.
Met him a man with an unclean spirit. Now, back then, they just called mental health and bipolar and being schizophrenic and a psychopath. Back then, it was just called the unclean spirit, because that's what it is. It's a spirit in you which ain't a clean spirit. So back then, it was just called the unclean spirit. Nowadays, scientists have gave these things names. They've researched it and said this is bipolar disease. They've researched it. This is borderline personality disorder. That's what that's the names that they've gave it. But originally, it was just called the unclean spirit. So over time, scientists give these things names. Go ahead.
Qadwan Khan, who had in his dwelling among the tombs.
This man is dwelling in places where people don't usually dwell. This man is in the tombs. Go ahead.
And no man could bind him, no, not with chains.
And he said, no man could bind him, not with chains. And if you know anything about mental homes back in the days, what they used to believe is somebody with mental health, they used to believe if we beat them, the demon will leave. So they would beat the person up thinking that's going to cause the demon to go. That doesn't cause the demon to go, man. And what causes the demon to go is you need to take the medication the doctor prescribes, and you need to get counsel from the men of the Lord, man. And the men of the Lord will also tell you to take your medication. Don't think it's magic where you're going to come in here, sit in class for 1 second, and you no longer have to take that medication. You take that medication and you get counsel from the men of the Lord, man. And what will happen is every time you think something in your mind, because people who are schizophrenic, they think they're seeing things. So they think this person's looking through my letterbox. They think this person's trying to kill me. This person broke into my car. You need to come and speak to a brother, and he'll say, listen, it's all in your mind. You're hallucinating again. It's not that. Take your medication. Take your medication. Take your medication. Now, with that, people take their medication and then they think, okay, I'm better now, I can stop. It don't work like that. You have to consistently take the medication. And I'm sure it does something to the serotonin in your brain. And it stops you from thinking all these weird thoughts. I think it shuts off some part of your nerves that makes you do certain things. Well, not your nerves, but some part of your brain where you start to think these emotional things. So they'll tell you take the medication, man. Because now in your mind, you start thinking all kinds of stuff. This medication is that they give you is there to help you. And most people don't take it, and then they get worse and worse and worse. That's why you're meant to take it. But Salaki, go ahead.
Qadwan Khan, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains.
And In these mental houses, more than likely, they just put you in a straight jacket, man. They just put you in a straight jacket and leave you to your devices. In here, you're going to get counsel on how to beat those demons. And who knows? These demons, that just might be the condition of your battle. The condition of your battle might just be for you to beat those demons, man. And you better beat them. And with the Spirit of the Lord and the help of the men of the Lord, you'll beat them demons, man. Don't give in to them demons. If you follow every order that you're supposed to, you'll be just fine. What people with mental health like to do is they like to close themselves off from the world because they feel like nobody knows what I'm going through. But what we just read, it said, no temptation is common to men, meaning it's not new. Everyone's dealt with these things before. And what we're reading right here is a brother with a medical condition. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Quran Khan. And the chains had been plucked asunder by him.
And this man would break them chains, man. Go ahead.
Quran Khan. And the fetters broken in pieces. Neither could any man tame him.
Neither could any man tame him. No man could rid him of this demon. No man could tame him. So, Lucky, go ahead.
Quran Khan, verse 5. And always, day and night, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting up himself.
This man would do what?
Cut himself up with stones.
This man was crying and cutting himself up with stones, man. For someone that cuts themselves today, what's it called?
Self-harm.
There you go. It's called self-harm. And this man was self-harming. Why? Because he had a demon, man. If you're self-harming, you need to get help because you have a demon, man.
That's right.
If you're smoking cigarettes and weed is a slow form of suicide, man. You're killing yourself and you don't even know it. There's a demon in you that's trying to kill you. And this is why every time you'll be like, you know what? I'm trying to quit smoking while rolling up a spliff. If you're trying to quit smoking, who is rolling up that spliff? What's the cause of that spliff being rolled up? You're trying to quit smoking. That means there's something inside you that's trying to continue smoking. And you don't even know it. There's a demon, man. In your spirit, you want to quit smoking, but then there's a demon in your head that says, yo, just roll up one more, man. Just roll up one more. There's a demon in your head saying, cut yourself. These demons is trying to kill you, man. This man is sitting down, self-harming. If you're self-harming, that is a demon, man. And most people know self-harming is wrong. So what happens? Once that demon leaves them for 2 minutes, guess what happens? They hide the scars because they're ashamed, man. They hide them scars. Listen, man. If you're self-harming, don't hide them scars. You come to class and say, look, this is what I've done to myself. You come to class and say, this is what I've done to myself with a knife. I need help. That's the first thing you're supposed to do. The first thing you're supposed to do is say, I need help. I'm self-harming and I need help. If you're an alcoholic, what are you supposed to do? First thing you're supposed to say is, I'm an alcoholic. I can't control my drink and I need help. That's what you're supposed to do, man. Don't hide away from it. That demon wants you to believe that this demon that you have is a singular to you. They want you to believe that the demon that you have, nobody's seen this demon before. And you're the only person in the world with it. And nobody knows what you're going through. You're supposed to ask for help, man. That's step number one. I'm sure the first thing to make you do on them alcohol programs is stand up and say that you're an alcoholic. First, you need to acknowledge that, man. First, you need to acknowledge that you abuse drugs and you're a drug addict. Once you can say, I'm a drug addict, that's the beginning of recovery, man. Because you're acknowledging that you have a problem. If you don't acknowledge that you got a problem and you brush it off, that demon's going to live in your head rent-free, man. That demon is going to feed off of you, man. Because why? You haven't done the first step. The first step is, I'm an addict and I need help. Guess what? Nobody ain't going to laugh at you. What, you think you're going to be the first addict that says they need help? We've all been addicted to something at one time, man. And the only way to beat that addiction is to come to the men of the Lord and find out how to beat that addiction. There's programs, man. There's all these kind of programs. You're smoking weed or whatever and you want to quit. That's step number one. The reason most people don't quit is because you don't know how to. And that demon in your head convinces you that you can't quit. The demon in your head convinces you that you're nothing. And life would be better off without you. and keep cutting your wrists because nobody understands me. That's what that demon tells you. The demon tells you nobody understands you, man. Don't tell nobody your problems. Nobody cares about your problems. But in here, just be alone in this room. And the thing is this, if you're going through something and you think you're alone, you think, okay, I want to be by myself right now. You're not by yourself, man. You're with that demon. You and that demon is sitting down, man. You're thinking, I'm alone right now. I want to be away from everybody. The demon wants you all to himself, man. And that's why most women can't keep relationships, man. Because the demon wants them all to himself. That demon that they have runs every man off, man. That demon that they have runs every man out the house. You know why? Because that demon wants to be the man of the house.
Right.
And when you come in that house, you test that demon's authority, man. And that demon says, yo, if you could see it with spiritual eyes, you would see the woman, and you would see the demon on the other side, man. And while you're checking her, you're trying to get rid of that demon out of her. And that demon, and that demon is saying to her, pick between me and this nigga. Pick between us.
Right.
He can talk to you like that. Pick between us two. And she's going back and forth with you, and the demon's telling her what to say, man. You're thinking it's her talking. It's the demon inside there talking to you, man. And you're taking that demon, and the demon's saying, tell that man to go, because if he goes, then it can be us two, how it usually is. Don't let no man tell you what to do. You've been living like this for the last 30 years with no man telling you what to do. Get that man out of the house, and then it can just be us two again. It can just be me and you. That man's coming in here trying to stamp his boots around and change how this house is run. Get that man out of the house, and then guess what? You can go back to being exactly how you was before, man. You can go back to living exactly how you was before. You can go back to all the freedom in the world, having to answer to nobody. You can go back to cutting your wrists in peace, man. You can go back to smoking weed and cigarettes in peace. And oftentimes, they listen to that demon in their head, man. And kick that man out of the house, which was the best thing for them, man. When that man was trying to get that demon under control, listen, man, that's how it usually goes to Lucky. I've gone way off topic. Read on.
But when he saw Yahushua afar off, he ran and worshipped him.
He did what?
He ran and worshipped him.
And he ran and worshipped him, man. Meaning what? This man wanted help, man. This man wanted help. And why do you think in the prayers we say, we pray that the Lord gives us the power to cast demons out, man? These is the kind of demons we're praying to cast out, man. These right here, we say in the name of Yahushua, give us the power to cast out demons, man. Why? Because we're trying to cast out demons the same way Christ cast out demons, man.
Right.
When you first come to the truth, it's because you know you need help. You know this is the place to be. This is the place to come where you get help. And this man saw Christ, and this man knew he could get help from this man. The demon in this man didn't want the help, but this man wanted the help. Go ahead.
And cried with a loud voice and said, what have I to do with thee, Yahushua, thou son of the Most High God?
Go ahead.
I adjure thee by God that thou torment me not.
Go ahead.
For he said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit.
And Christ casted out that demon, man. Christ said, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit, man. Christ casted the demon out, man. And that's what we do here every single day, man. Listen, Christ said, greater miracles than these shall we do, man. Christ walked on water. Christ said, we're going to do greater miracles, man, than these. And you know what a great miracle is? One day a man's a crackhead, man, and he's no longer on crack no more, man. That's a miracle, man. That man was destined to die. He's no longer on crack no more. A man that hated his brothers and wanted to kill everything, he now loves his brothers, man. Those things are a miracle, man. Go ahead.
So for us to be able to do what Yahushua just done right there, would we have to be without sin to be able to make that operate? or just operate in faith, knowing that, you know what I mean, we're under the authority of the Most High and we can do that.
So what we would have to do, we would have to serve the Lord. So we would serve the Lord, and the more you serve the Lord, the more you learn, the more you study, the more wisdom you get. So then people that have demons, you will know how to attack those demons. So it's not like you're going to see a demon and say, come out. What you would do is you would teach about not smoking weed, and then the brother will hear that, and then that might cause his demon to come out of him.
Right.
So all demons operate. So it's not like you're going to see him and say, hey, demon, come out. What you need to do is the demon that the brother's struggling with, if you know a lot about what the brother's going through and you know how to address certain things, then the certain demons that you can cast out, like say for instance, there'll be certain demons that I've never seen before that I don't know how to deal with, but then that brother goes and speaks to a general, the general will know how to get the demon out of that brother. The general will know, all right then, go do push-ups, go do this, go do that. Go on this program, go on that program, and you cast demons out that way. So now, there was a next precept where the brothers couldn't cast out the demon. You know that precept, right?
Can't.
And then Christ had to do it. Now, they couldn't cast out that demon. Why? Because they didn't believe. So you need to see black people's condition, and you have to believe, I can fix black people. Because if you have a little bit of doubt in your mind, I don't know if I can help this brother. Guess what? You ain't going to be able to help him, man. You need to know the Lord is with me, and I have the power of the Lord on my side. I can cast out the demon that this brother has. Where now, if you're lacking faith and you don't believe, and you think, you know what? I can't cast out that demon, man. I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. And you have doubt, you ain't going to be able to cast out that demon, man.
That's right.
What you need to do is understand that the Lord is with you. And this brother might have stumbled across your path. Why? Because the Lord wants you to cast this demon out, man. The Lord wants you to raise this brother and teach this brother. But then if you start to doubt, put your head down. I can't cast out this demon, man. This demon's too strong. I can't do it. I can't do it. You better believe you can do it, man. That's what we need to do. Believe we could do it, man. Moses said to the Lord, Lord, I can't speak, man. The Lord said, Moses, who do you think made man's mouth, man?
Right.
Man, we need to have faith and understand all power comes from the Lord.
That's right.
Once we understand all power comes from the Lord, we'll understand we can cast out any demon, man.
Right.
The Lord wants us to cast it out. If it be the Lord's will, we can do anything if it be the Lord's will, man. We need to stop doubting ourselves and doubting our capabilities, man. And usually when you have doubt in your mind, doubt is a demon that jumps in your mind and tells you you can't do these things, man. It's a demon that says, you ain't good enough to do that. You can't do it. You better say, I can do it, man. That's what you better say. You better say, I'm capable and I can do it. So Lucky, go ahead.
Quran Khan, verse 9. And he asked him, what is thy name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion.
And he answered and said, my name is Legion, man. This means multiple demons. Now, some people have the one demon, and there's some people that have tons of demons, man. People that have tons of issues and tons of demons. Go ahead.
Quran Khan. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country.
And it besought them not. Ray Ramsey said, where are the demons in the Old Testament? You're watching too many supernatural garbage. Okay, someone get me the one when Saul had the demon of him when it says an evil spirit of the Lord. Listen, I'm gonna cut you right now with the Bible. I'm gonna cut you right now with the Bible. You don't know the Bible like we do. It would be in the book of Samuel somewhere.
1 Samuel 16 and 14.
First, all right, let's get you got it, what, sir? Go ahead.
1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 14. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul.
But the what?
But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul.
The Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, man. Meaning the Lord's Spirit, which is a separate spirit, the Holy Spirit, man. The Spirit of God, which the Lord puts on a man. This vibe of the Lord, man. Where you do everything the Lord wants you to do. He no longer had that spirit. Go ahead.
And an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him.
And a what?
And an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him.
And a what?
and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him.
And an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him, man. That is those demons, man.
That's right.
And when you see what the demon that Saul had, it made him angry and it made him hate his brother, man. It made him hate his brother and he wanted to kill David any chance he got. Any chance he got, he wanted to kill his brother.
Right.
So like you read on.
And Saul's servants said unto him, Behold now, an evil spirit from God troubleth thee.
And even they knew he had a demon, man. The men around him, his servants, knew that Saul had a demon on him. Go ahead.
Let our Lord now command thy servants, which are before thee, to seek out a man who is a cunning player on the harp.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, when the evil spirit from God is upon thee, that he shall play with his hand, and thou shalt be well.
So now I said, get a musician, and this man, once he plays the music, then that evil spirit will leave you. Does anyone know why the spirit left him once music was played?
Awesome.
No sweat. You want to give it a shot, Ariella?
Salakia, because the spirit. Salakia, repeat the question, sir.
So now it said, if they find a musician that plays music, when he plays the music, the spirit, the evil spirit will leave Saul.
Is he playing the harp, sir?
Hmm.
The spirits don't like the music.
It's not that. Basically, I'll go ahead, Hakeem.
Like you said, was it tormenting them? Tormented? No? Okay.
So what it is, if you know anything about music, all it's saying is music is therapeutic. So you could be having a bad day, and sometimes you listen to music. Have you ever listened to a song, and the song makes you say, "I love the brotherhood"?
Can't.
Like it's like that. The other day I was listening to a song. It almost brought tears to my eyes. I was thinking, I love the brotherhood. Hold on, let me find the name of the song. 1 sec. I was listening to the song and I said, "Damn, this song makes me love the brotherhood, man." Hold on, let me find what the song was called.
The luckiest, was it Tupac, sir?
It was. You know what? It was that Janet K song, "Silly Games." You know that reggae song, "Silly Games."
Khan.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Khan.
Oh, hold on. Let me play a clip of it.
Your silly games.
This one. Hold on. This one. You know this one. This one. Listen, I was listening to that the other day and just the instrument and the sister's voice, and it made me say, I love the brotherhood, man.
Right.
It made me say I want to hug my brothers, man.
Mm.
Because music's therapeutic, man.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you be having a bad day, and what's the first thing you go to? Music, man. And this is why so much sisters go to when they hate their man, they go to Summer Walker, because music's therapeutic. Some of the songs you listen to, sometimes it gets rid of demons. Some songs beat the demons. Like every time a woman has a heartbreak, you have to listen to that song Ashanti Foolish. They listen to that song Ashanti Foolish, and they feel like no man's taking me for a fool again. Some of them listen to Beyonce.
So lucky, sir, if I may.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So lucky, sir. Is there any music? Is there any music that the demons that the demons are appealed to?
See, one is obviously that right there is Christianity. Christianity believes that you play certain songs, the demons don't like those songs. That's Christianity. Music is just therapeutic. So with Christianity, they believe that listening to gospel makes demons leave the house. Like they believe that listening to gospel stops the demons from throwing the chairs around the house, the light switch flickering on and off, the fridge opening and shutting by itself. They believe listening to gospel stops all of that. All of that stuff. Slucky, go ahead.
No, Slucky, so I didn't mean to cut you there. I'll wait for you to finish. Slucky.
So now all of that stuff, that's movies. So what it is, someone who's a schizophrenic. Basically, when you watch horror movies, of the door opening by itself and the lights flickering on and off and the chair moving by itself. You see that in movies, but in real life, that's what a schizophrenic sees. In real life, a schizophrenic sees the light flicking on and off. They see the fridge moving. They see the floor opening up and talking to them. So now horror movies, most of it is based off people with schizophrenic talking about their experience to a doctor. And some white man said, this sounds interesting. Let's make a horror movie out of this. And then he makes a horror movie out of it. That's why with a lot of those movies, what happens? Someone's seen something, and then the scene goes calming and stops, and everybody else is looking at the person like, what's wrong with you? It's because obviously it's based off what schizophrenic see. So lucky I can go ahead. What are you going to say?
Yeah, answer. So basically, the bad vibe, or like we say, demon that tries to make somebody break the law or sin, it can be appeased by, depending on the circumstance, it can be appeased by certain music that will just relax you, and you'll be like, make it go, as in where, you'll let it go, you'll be calmer, you'll relax, and you'll be like, you know what, nah, done that. I'm not gonna get involved in none of that. Is that basically what you mean?
Yes, because sometimes music can, change the way you're thinking. Sometimes, like say for instance, if you're going to fight, you're not gonna listen to Beyonce.
Right.
You're gonna listen to some hardcore shit because you get me. Let me get some. Let me listen to something that's gonna, you get me. Or sometimes you be listening to Sometimes when I be listening to reggae, it makes me say the white man's the devil, man, because I hear a lot of them reggae artists talking about oppression and how bad white people treat them, man. And rapping about life. There's a reggae song called Life, and every time I hear that song, it's sad to me, man. Listen, I was listening to Bonnie Wailer, Dreamland. Oh, hold on, let me play this. Like for instance, every time I listen to this Bonnie Wailer song, it makes me say, how could I ever hate black and Hispanic people, man? How can I ever hate them when the white man's the devil, man?
Right.
That's what it makes me say when I'm listening to this brother's words. Hold on, let me see if I can play it. Can you hear it? And listen, man, Bonnie Wailer's singing, saying, there's a land that I've heard about so far across the sea, a land with milk and honey. The reason we ain't in that land that he's singing about is because the white man's the devil, man. We're supposed to be in that land. And every time I hear that Bonnie Wailer song and them lyrics, it breaks my heart. He's saying there's a land that I've heard about. He's saying one day we'll all be together. The reason black and Hispanic people ain't all together is why? Because the oppressor is the devil, man.
Right.
When I hear that song, it tugs at my heartstrings and it makes me say, how can I hate black people, man? How can I hate my own people when there's a man on this earth which should be hated, man, with a righteous hatred? When there's a man on this earth which should be hated with a perfect hatred, man? How can I hate my own people when there's a man on this earth who is a vagabond and a bastard who stole someone's culture and someone's nationality, man?
Come on.
So much that Bonnie Wailer has to be singing about. There's a land so far across the sea that I've heard about. We should be in that land, but this man is the devil. The Bible speaks of we ain't in this land. Salakia, what precept was I at before I went all the way off topic? Salakia.
Samuel, 1 Samuel.
Go ahead.
1 Samuel 16. I think Q-Tip was Quatazar was reading, sir.
Go ahead, yeah, we finish off that, and then Hakian, is there anything you're holding all that are?
Also, I was just gonna say something though.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, when I'm in the gym and I'm pumping those heavy weights there, right? I listen to Captain Mashak, boy, in in Washington DC. Yeah, he goes in on them, and every single time I listen to that, it just put me into that. You know what I mean? I can take any pain on my chest or legs or anything like that. So yeah, just to kind of reiterate what you're saying.
Depending on what you listen to and the things, it can change your whole mood, man. Change your whole mood.
Okay.
Depending on because music, what is therapeutic, man. Don't let Christians lie to you and say music came from the devil and this and that. Listen, man, music's a good thing, man, and especially our music. Like you hear our music, our people put their spirit into the music, man. It's like you hear them pouring out their spirit on the track. Like listen to these songs, some of these reggae songs, and it's like the brothers took the spirit out of his chest and put it on wax, man. When they're singing about all the things they're going through. So, man, go ahead.
Carter one gone.
Go ahead, Ariella.
Oh, Salakia, Officer Quatsar was reading. I thought he had left the room, sir. Salakia.
All right, no, sir. All right, go ahead, Quatsar.
1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 23. And it came to pass when the evil spirit from God was upon Saul, that David took an harp and played with his hand. So Saul was refreshed and well, and the spirit departed from him. And listen, man, whenever David played that harp, because David was a musician, man, David could play them harps. I mean, what do you think the book of Psalms is about? It means songs, man. These things is songs. And whenever he played it, that evil spirit left him, man. Because music's therapeutic. Sometimes you want to listen to R&B and all of those kind of things, man. Sometimes, you know, you want to listen to Bryson Tiller with your rib and all of those kind of things, man. Sometimes you want to play some Bryson Tiller. Sometimes you want to listen to some hardcore music. Sometimes you put on the Capleton. Sometimes you put on the Garnet Silk. Who knows, man? Music's therapeutic, but we can drop that. Get me Matthew chapter 4 and verse 1.
The book of Matthew chapter 4 verse 1.
And we need to fight them demons. Go ahead.
Then was Jesus led up of the spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil.
So now, Christ was led of the spirit into the wilderness. Now, when you're led of the spirit, meaning you might think you're going to do one thing, but the Lord's having you do another. So Christ probably woke up that morning and said, you know what? Let me just have some time away to fast. So he went and fasted for 40 days. He probably said, let me have some time away to go and fast and, you know, get closer with God and whatnot. And the whole point of him going to the wilderness was what? So he could be tempted of the devil. But in his mind, he thought he was going to the wilderness to fast. So sometimes you're in your mind, you'll be like, you know what? I'm going, let me just go town real quick. And you go to town and you save somebody's life. You've been led to town by the spirit, but in your mind, you think you're just going town to go window shopping. In your mind, you're thinking, I'm just going town to window shop. Whereas you could have just been led there by the spirit because the Lord wanted you there for some purpose. So now, Christ said, yo, I'm going to fast for 40 days. But really, he was there so he could be tempted of the devil. Now, Christ didn't know he was going to be tempted by the devil because it came to him after he finished fasting. Go ahead.
Father one can. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungry.
And now it says he was after he fasted 40 days, he was hungry. Imagine he fasted for 40 days and you're starving, man. Go ahead.
Father one can. And when the tempter came to him, he said, and when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread.
And he said, when the tempter came to him, now, how did the tempter come to him?
With temptations, right?
But how? In what form?
In his mind, right?
Yeah, right. It came in his mind. People make out like that Satan came. People make out that Satan came like as a man comes. He came in his mind. And where does the tempter come to you? In your mind also. So, okay, go ahead.
God won't come. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but
So
by
now,
every word that proceeds.
now the tempter comes to you in your mind, and he tries to get you to go against the Lord. Now Christ was starving here, saying, "Yo, if you're the Son of God, turn this stone into bread." And he's trying to tempt him. Why? Because he knows if he can get Christ to turn this stone into bread because he's hungry, he knows, okay, then, while I found his weak point, when he gets hungry, this is how he acts. When he gets hungry, this is what he's going to do. So the tempter tests you at your weak point, because you're most likely to give in at your weak point. Christ was fasting for 40 days and he's starving. The tempter came in his mind and said, "Yo, just turn this to some bread." And a normal man would have said, "Yo, I'm starving. Let me turn this to some bread." Christ said, "No, I'm not going to do that, man." Because why? If the tempter can get him to turn this stone into bread, whenever else he's at a weak point in life, guess what will happen? The tempter will have him right where he wants him. So he's trying to test Christ. Go ahead. So in his mind, his mind saying, "Turn this stone into bread. Turn this stone into bread." Because you're the Son of God, man. You can do whatever. You're the Son of God. You can do anything you want. Turn this stone into bread. Christ is this tempter's jumped in his mind. Christ is battling with what? With the words of the Lord, man. And that's how you're supposed to battle these demons in your head. The demon in your head will say, "Go have sex with the next man's wife because, he's not treating her right. He ain't treating her right." That's what the demon will say. You can treat her right. And what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to say, "It says in the law, if you have sex with the next man's wife, you're going to get the death penalty, man. You're going to die for having sex with the next man's wife." So this demon came in his head and was tempting him to do these things. Go ahead.
God one God. But by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh.
Go ahead.
God one God. Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city and said
in his mind, he's seen the holy city in his mind. He's seen all the kingdoms in his mind. Imagine Christ knows, I'm the rightful king over everything, over this whole land, over this city. I'm the rightful king. And now in his mind saying, "You're the rightful king, man. Look at all of these cities. You can have all these cities. Look at all of these cities." But at this time wasn't the time for Christ to have these cities. Go ahead.
God won't come. Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city and setteth him on a principle of the temple.
So now,
Salakia setteth him on the pinnacle of the temple.
So now in his mind, what's happened? This tempter's tempting him. He's took him up to the high mountains. In his mind saying, "Jump off the temple." His mind saying, "Go and jump off the temple." Go ahead.
Khan, and saith unto him, "If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee."
And how do you know that the tempter came to him in his mind? Because what? Everybody that's suicidal, does Satan physically push them off buildings, or do they jump off buildings themselves?
They jump off themselves.
Why? Because the tempter comes to you in your mind. And there's some people who have demons. There's some people who have demons, and guess what the demon says to them? "Set yourself on fire, you won't die. Jump off this building, you won't die. Jump in front of a train, you won't die." And they believe that demon in their head, and they believe that they won't die. Satan tried to tempt Christ the same way. He said, "Jump off the temple, you won't die." Right. Knowing damn well if he jumped off the temple, he's going to die.
Right.
He came to him in his mind and told him, "Jump off the temple, man." And the tempter comes in people's mind and tells them, "Jump off this cliff, you won't die." And they jump off the cliff, believe in this tempter, and it's this tempter's job to get you to die. Look, there's tons of people that set themselves on fire, and then when they get better, what do they say? "Oh, I was told something in my mind says set yourself on fire, it won't hurt." That's what the demon in your head tells you. Set yourself on fire, it won't hurt, knowing damn well it's gonna hurt. Don't listen to them demons in your mind, man. Right. The same things we're going through right now, Christ went through them also. The tempter was in his mind, man, trying to get him to go against the Lord. Read on.
Khan. He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hand.
The tempter saying he's going to give the angels charge concerning you. Go ahead.
Khan. And in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash.
And now Satan's really trying to get him to commit suicide, man. He's saying, look, man, it says in the scriptures, if you jump off this mountain, them angels will pick you up, man. You can't die. You're not gonna die. You're the son of God, man. Look at all these kingdoms. Go ahead.
Khan, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone.
Go ahead.
Khan. Jesus said unto him.
What Satan's saying is, before you hit the ground, man, them angels is gonna protect you. He tells people that all the time. People that commit suicide, half the time, half of them didn't think they was gonna die.
Right.
Half of them thought, yeah, I'm just gonna jump off this bridge, and my mind's telling me I'm not gonna die, and they believe it. There's some people that actually believe the bulletproof and invincible, man.
That's right.
There's some men that believe the bulletproof and invincible. There's some men walking around talking about I'm hard to kill. Who told you that you're hard to kill? There's some men talking about I've been shot once, so I've been shot 5 times. Real niggas is hard to kill. Listen, Tupac and all of them was talking about real niggas is hard. I'm hard to kill. Listen, man, that is a demon in your head, man, telling you you can do whatever you want because you can't die. That's a demon in you telling you I can attack whoever I want because I can't die. Until one day you're taking your last breaths, man. You realize the tempter lied to you, man. You realize the tempter lied to you, and he lies to all of us, and that's why we should not listen to him, man. When this tempter's in your head trying to tempt you to do things, don't listen to him. Salaki, go ahead.
Khan. Jesus said unto him, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God.
And it's written, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. Go ahead.
Khan. Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them.
And the glory of them. And you being in here, you know what this means, because imagine you're meant to rule the world. We know with the Israelites who's meant to rule the whole earth, but in this life, we're poor, we're broke, we have no necessities, we have nothing. And in your mind, something says, yo, you need a new car, man. Sell drugs and get that car, man. Pimp hoes and get that car, man. That's you seeing all the kingdoms in the world, man. You're seeing all the riches in the world, and something in your mind says, yo, just do this and you will get those things. Rob your brothers and you will get those things. Steal from your brothers and you will get those things. You're thinking I'm broke right now. And then what happens? The tempter comes in your mind and says, well, you see them brothers that you're around. If you steal from them, you can get those things, man. If you rob them and do these things to them, you can get those things. And the tempter comes in your mind and says, don't worry, just rob them. Just ask all of them for this and take these things. Steal whatever possessions they have. They won't know it's you stealing from them. They won't know it's you because you're amongst them. He will jump in your mind and tell you all of these things. And in your mind, you're saying, they're my brothers. If I do rob from them, guess what that means? I can afford this car. I can afford this house. I can afford these things. I can afford to live like a king. Satan was showing Christ all of these things, man, showing him how to get all the kingdoms of the world, meaning trying to get him to go against the Lord so he can have all these kingdoms right now. Imagine you're meant to be the rightful king, and instead you're a man that don't even have nowhere to lay your head. You're a man that has no roof over your head, nowhere to lay your head. And someone shows you all the kingdom, how to get all the kingdoms in the world. And that's how you know Christ was a man of God, because he turned that down, man. He said, I'm not going to sell out for no kingdoms, man. I'm not going to sell out for no money. I'm not going to sell out for no riches, man. You show me whatever you want to show me. Get behind me, Satan. I'm not doing. I'm not falling for that nonsense. So like you read on.
Khan, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me.
It says, all these things I will give thee if thou will fall down and worship me. Meaning what? If you live a sinful lifestyle, that's you falling down and worshiping Satan, man. It doesn't literally mean you go on your knees and pray to Satan. If you're a drug dealer, you're bowing down and worshiping Satan, man, and you don't even know it. If you're a pimp, you're bowing down and worshiping Satan and you don't even know it, man. People think the only Satanist is the white man that sets fire to his ring and prays on his knees to Satan. Listen, you also worship Satan if you're breaking God's laws, man. Because if you're breaking the laws of God, whose laws are you keeping? Satan's, man. Satan wants you to be a drug dealer. He wants you to be a drug dealer and a criminal. You're serving him. So lucky someone find me that scripture where it says, who you yield yourself to, that's who you serve. That's a precept also. Says who you yield your members to, that's who you serve. Now, right here, what's going on? The tempter is in Christ's mind trying to get him to serve Satan, man. And Christ is fighting that demon, expressing why we should serve the Lord. Because who you yield yourself to, that's whose servants ye are.
That's right.
If you're not serving the Lord, you're bowing down and worshiping Satan, man. In here, we know who we serve, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who you serve? If not, you better pick a side, man. If not, there's no in the middle. There's no on the fence. There's no I'm in the middle and I do a bit of both. It's one or the other, man. There's a thing called the good, the bad. There's a thing called the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, the good is the righteous. The bad is people that keep no laws. And the ugly is what? What the ugly is the people that try and do both. So it's called the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good's the righteous. The bad is the unrighteous, like the white man and everyone that serves him. And the ugly is those people that try and do both. Soon the ugly is going to be removed, man. Soon the ugly is going to be removed out of the way. You have to pick a side. You can either be the good or the bad. You need to pick one, man. I suggest you pick the good. So go ahead.
Carter 1 Khan. Then saith Jesus unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and
now
him.
Now it's written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God. And how do we worship God? By doing what he tells us to do, man. By keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
If we worship God by keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments, how do you worship Satan? Go up to the previous verse that we read, actually. The verse up above.
Khan 1 Khan. And saith unto him, All these things will I give thee. Aye, if thou wilt fall down and worship me.
If what?
If thou wilt fall down and worship me.
And if we worship God and serve him by keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments, how do you worship Satan then? Is it making sense now?
By doing the opposite, sir. By breaking the law, statutes, and commandments.
Exactly. Because Christians think worshipping Satan is just falling on your knees and saying, Hail Satan. That's what they think it is. Worshipping Satan is you eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, and living Satan's lifestyle that he wants you to live. That's you worshipping him, man.
That's right.
You living how the white man lives. That's you worshipping Satan, man.
Right.
You hate people, you joining the military, you killing and murdering your own people. That's you worshipping Satan. So read on.
Carter 1 Khan. Then saith Jesus unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written. Get thee hence, Satan.
Now listen, man, when you're battling, man, them demons, you're meant to say in your mind, I serve the Lord, man. You're meant to say, Satan, get the hell out of here, man. I ain't going to worship you.
That's right.
Something in your mind tells you, leave the truth. You're meant to say, Satan, get the hell out of here, man. Because in your mind, that's him telling you to do these things, man. Satan's telling you, listen, don't fix that relationship with your brothers. You say, Satan, get the hell out of here, man. I'm fixing that relationship with my brothers, man. I serve the Lord, and the Lord said I better fix that relationship, man. The Lord said I better leave the gift and go sort it with my brother, man. Whereas Satan will tell you, your brother, he don't listen to you. This is the 5th time he's done this to you. He ain't listening. Listen, man, what you do is we keep taking each other to counsel if we have to, man. Listen, we'll keep going to them councils if we have to, man. If it's going to stop me and you from hating each other, man. If it's going to stop me and you from killing each other. If it's going to stop Satan from jumping on in my mind and in your mind. Me and you are going to sit each other in council every single week, man. Every single week we're going to sit in council. That way, there's no room for Satan to manipulate what we do next, man.
That's right.
No need for Satan to and then that's why Christ said, yo, read that part. What did Christ say? Get what?
Get thee hence, Satan.
Means get
for
thee
it is
hence.
written.
Means get thee hence, Satan, man. Meaning move out of here, man. Satan's all up in his mind trying to tell him do this, that. Christ is checking that demon, man. Like, look, man, you ain't gonna come up in here and tell me I must do these things. It's not gonna happen, man. He was being tempted, and he passed the test with flying colors, man. And it's our job to pass the test with flying colors.
That's right.
Attempt to try to get him to commit suicide, man. This attempt to try to get him to break God's laws so he can have all the world's riches. So, like, you get him. Someone hold this, but someone pull me the precept where it says strive for mastery. You know which one I'm talking about, right? The one where it says strive for mastery. But so, like, you read on.
Khan and one Khan. Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve.
Thy God and him only. Go ahead.
Khan and one Khan. Then the devil leaveth him, and behold,
Then what?
angels.
Then what?
Then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him.
Now, people think here that angels came in the flesh and ministered unto him. That didn't happen. The same way the tempter was in his mind is the same way these angels was in his mind. It's the same thing. While it is in his mind, he had strength and comfort. That's what it means. There's a thing called they call it the ministering angel. It's old English. Whereas in your mind, you get strength and comfort. That's what it means. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. So basically, the tempter was messing with his mind, and then once the tempter left his mind, guess what? Like obviously, once the tempter left his mind, he felt strong again. Like, yo, I'm serving the Lord. I'm doing things right. I'm righteous. You get the point, right?
Khan and one Khan.
So it didn't mean angels came from heaven and picked him up and all of that kind of stuff. It just means he had strength and comfort now. In his mind, he was strength and comforted. There's a thing they call ministering angels. So, like, yeah, go ahead. Did anyone get the other precept for me? Well, it is. You see, well, it is. Christians butcher the scripture so much. They butcher the scripture so much that you believe Satan came as a man, and you believe the angels came as a man in his mind and all of those things. Hold on one sec.
1 Corinthians 9-25.
Give me 1 second.
Can't, sir.
Give me 1 second. Hold on. All right, so now you see how I said a ministering angel just gave him just what was just meant strength and comfort. So now when you look up, hold on. Now when you look up ministering angel, the definition here it says Christianity says a spirit who's believed to look after the needs of a particular person or group. So that's all it was. Does everybody understand?
God, one God.
So that's all it is. Don't think that angels came out of heaven with wings and picked him up. It's not that. Just means in his mind he had strength and comfort. And how do you know it means that? Because you have it every day. One day you're tempted. Imagine all day something's been saying smoke weed, smoke weed, smoke weed. And then you don't smoke weed. You feel in your mind, yo, I got strength, man. I'm feeling good, man. I didn't smoke that weed. Christ was feeling good in his spirit, man. He had strength and comfort. That's what it means when it says angels ministered to him.
Right.
But Christians make out like, you know, some angel came out of heaven with wings and picked him up. No. Just means he has comfort in his mind. So, go ahead.
Is it fair to say that Christians make it out to be supernatural beings? Things like, you know, you understand?
Yes, Christians make it out. Well, Christians make it out to be something that doesn't happen to you in your life.
Right.
Whereas what Christ went through there, this happens to you every day in your life. You're tempted every day in your life. But Christians make out that what? Satan stepped before Christ and there was man to man, face to face. And they say that why? Because that don't happen in your life. Where does Satan come in your life? In your mind. Where does the tempter come in your life? In your mind. So once you understand that the tempter came in Christ's mind, then you will know how to change your life, because then you will know, okay, then Christ went through this also, and I'm going through it. But Christians make out the things that happen to Christ don't happen to you in your everyday life. Christ said it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, meaning the same way the tempter came to him in his mind, it comes to you in your mind. And what Christ did, he showed us how to defeat the tempter. He showed us how to defeat the flesh. He told us how to keep all of God's laws. That's why Christians say, oh, Christ, you know, is God. Because if they can tell you that Christ is God, then in your mind you think, well, the reason why Christ cannot break the law is because he's God. Whereas if you understood Christ came to a mother and a father like you did, grew up in the ghetto like you did, was poor and broke, living under another nation like you did, though he was going through all of that, he never once sold drugs, man.
Right.
Though he was going through all of that, he never once said, I'm stressed, let me smoke weed, man. Though he was going through all of that, he never once said, let me rob my brothers because I'm broke and I need some money. Now, if you see that Christ can do it, you also can do it. But if you're taught that Christ is some superficial being, that was God, that's why he could do those things, then that teaches you can't change your life, man. That teaches you that you can't do nothing, man. That teaches you that you can't do nothing Christ did. That teaches you that you can't not keep the laws of God, because Christ was perfect because he's God and I'm not God, so I can't be perfect. Once you realize Christ was a normal man, like you're a normal man, then you will say, Christ kept the laws without excuse. I can keep the laws without excuse, man.
Right.
Christ didn't smoke weed. I'm not going to smoke weed, because this man was tempted by the devil and I'm being tempted also. And he overcame it. I'm going to overcome it the same way. Once you realize that, you will learn how to fight your demons. So Christianity, because it comes from the Roman Catholics, they don't want you to fight your demons. So they make out, like Christ is this angel that came down from heaven and all of those kind of things. They make out all of those things. So you can't be perfect. Ray Ramsey, what do you mean he reaped on Shabbat? What do you mean? What does it reap? What does that mean? Salakia, but who's holding what precept you're holding from your Hakayan?
Carl, it was 1 Corinthians 9:25.
Hold on,
and every man that striveth for mastery is temperate in all things.
Every man that striveth for mastery, man, is temperate in all things. Every man that striveth for mastery, striving for mastery means what? You striving for perfection. Hold on 1 second. So, okay, go ahead, read that again. What precept are you reading?
1 Corinthians 9:25, sir. And every man that striveth for mastery is temperate in all things.
Every man that strives for mastery is temperate in all things. And mastery means when you want to perfect something. So now, this is why, what do footballers do? Footballers watch their diet, they wake up, they run, they go to the gym, they train, they kick a football. They're striving for mastery. And in here, we should be striving for mastery, man. Which means what? We got to be in them classes. We got to learn the breakdowns. We got to learn the protocols so we can strive for mastery, man. Imagine a man in the world striving for mastery playing football, which is some bullshit. So, like, excuse my French, which is a short career that ends when you're 34, 35. If he can do that for worldly things, We should strive for mastery for spiritual things, man.
That's right.
We should strive for mastery by serving the Lord, man. Learning these breakdowns, these scriptures, attending classes, all of those kind of things. We should strive for mastery, man. Like a boxer, they box all day. They hit the bag. They go punch. What's the thing to punch in the boxing ring, Ariella? What's the thing to punch? Is it the turkeys or is the old training?
The
Not
what?
the turkey. What's the meat that they punch in the boxing gyms in all of them Rocky movies? When
That's just Hollywood, sir. That's just Hollywood. That's Hollywood, sir.
They be punching the meat. Listen, they're striving for mastery, man. They be punching the meat up in the butchers, Salakia. But they're striving for mastery. Whether it's Hollywood or not, Salakia. I thought every boxer did that. I thought it gets some heavy meat.
Tenderizing the beef, Salakia.
Salakia, say that again.
Tenderizing the beef.
That's the air. They be punching the beef and punching up the beef in the butchers. That man's striving for, listen, a man that's willing to punch the meat up in the butchers, that's a man striving for mastery. You know, he's trying to get the belt, man. A man that's running up the stairs to the Rocky theme, he's trying to get the belt, man. And listen, back to the music being therapeutic. You see when I'm on the treadmill, that Rocky theme, that soundtrack keeps me going, man. I'll be running on that treadmill. That soundtrack, I believe I can't be stopped when I'm running on that treadmill, man. Listen, that music's therapeutic. That Rocky theme, I don't know. They put some kind of spirit into that soundtrack, man. There's something in there that makes me think I can run this 5 miles, man. I'm telling you, there's something in that soundtrack. So, lucky, go ahead.
Quran Khan. Now they do it to obtain.
Temperate means level-headed. So, lucky, go ahead.
Quran Khan. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown.
Imagine there's a man out there doing all of this work for a corruptible crown, man. Imagine. But Mike Tyson and all of them done all of this for a corruptible crown, trained his neck like this all day, doing all them sit-ups, doing all of that peekaboo style, done all of that for a corruptible crown, man. All of that was corruptible. Usain Bolt doing all these sprint drills, running in the wind, putting a parachute on his back, sprinting. All of that is done for a corruptible crown, man. And they became great at what they do for a corruptible crown. John Jones training all this stuff, training all this jiu-jitsu, this grappling, this everything, all of this for a corruptible crown. It's like you read on.
Quran Khan, but we an incorruptible.
But we striving for an incorruptible crown, man. In here, we trying to master our craft, man. We're striving in here to master our craft. So, Lucky, go ahead.
I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air.
Go ahead.
But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection.
And he keeps on this body and brings it into subjection, man. Go ahead.
Lest by any means, when I preach to others, I myself should be a castaway.
And he goes, he brings his body into subjection, meaning what? He don't give his body what it wants. Though he preaches the gospel, he said he keeps his body in subjection, meaning what? He keeps the laws, he serves God, he don't listen to what's in his mind, lest he be a castaway, meaning a castaway is a man that was once in the truth, is no longer in the truth, ends up dying a horrible death. Salaki, go ahead.
Salaki, that's it. So
that's it.
Chapter 10, if you like.
Hold on. Actually, that's it on that. With that, that brings us to the end of the class. Clap it up. We're going to do the security announcement. We are here.
The ISUPK security announcements. Where the ISUPK started out Gone West, 123 Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to show themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which a brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment, Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21. Malachi chapter 3 verses 8 to 10 means 10 in Hebrew, Masha'ara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Welcome in all the convocations.
The Feast of First Fruits, May 29th, which is a bank holiday. So that's in about, what, 2 weeks, right? What's the date today?
Father one come.
Oh, yeah.
16.
17th
Say that
today.
again.
17.
17th today.
All right, so that's the feast days in just under 2 weeks, 12 days. So not Monday coming, the one after May 29th. Come on down, man. London's going to be there. London, Birmingham, Leicester. What else? What other cities we got?
Gloucester, Manchester, Gloucester.
Manchester. Listen, man, we all going to be there. Embracing brotherhood. Salaki, go ahead again.
Salakia, was that Feast of Tabernacles, sir?
Like our first fruits.
Salakia.
Tabernacles is in, I believe that's end of September.
Can't, sir.
So come on down. All the brothers is going to be there. The sisters is going to be there. Come on down, man. Come and meet your brothers and your sisters. Some people some people only see us at camp and they're afraid of us until you come and spend time with us and you realize we're harmless, man. We're lovely people. So lucky. We love our brothers and sisters. Come on down to the feast day, man. I'm trying to see some new faces. I know you're scared of us because of how we dress and how we talk. But we loving brothers, man, and loving sisters. You come on down and see how Israel gets down, man. You'll see how you can serve the Lord righteously and have fun doing it, man. You'll see how you can serve the Lord righteously and have fun. The only place you can serve the Lord righteously and still be masculine is in the ISUPK. You try and do it in these other fake Israelite groups, you're going to turn gay, so lucky. You're going to turn gay, so lucky. Read on, we'll be up on the time.
If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. That was a Majab, Shabbat, Amajab, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahshua.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Brakatah.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Brakatah.
That's your Matah. Classes, miss.
All right, Ariella, for what I appreciate it, most in Christ.
Shalom, sir, Lord in Christ. No sweat.
Shalom, sir, Most High in Christ.
I'm Lord in Christ.
Shalom.
Right, shalom. All right, Shalom Israel will be here tomorrow with Officer Karafia. Shalom Israel. All right, Shalom Israel.